So in this video, I'm going to show you how I breed the Blue Daisies rice fish. In this tank, it's a 10-gallon tank. I've got a matin filter in the back, but a sponge filter would be perfectly fine. And I've got no substrate at all, and a spawning mop here with acrylic yarn. Now this is the way to maximize the number of eggs. There's a lot of ways where you could do it kind of in a tank planted with no other fish or snails to eat the eggs, but this way is just to maximize the number of eggs and fry that you're going to get. So I bought a group of 12 and let them grow out. You can see the nice blue coloring ones, those are the males, and the more orangey looking are the females. Unfortunately, I ended up with 2 females and 10 males, so not the best ratio, but you can see here what they do. This female is actually, you can see she's carrying the eggs. And what she's going to do at some point today is deposit those eggs somewhere on this mop. And what I like to do is feed them really well, live baby brine, frozen brine shrimp. They've even eaten some bloodworms for me. And just let them sit in this tank with nothing else, no snails, no substrate, just the spawning mop. So I'm going to leave these guys in this tank for somewhere between a week or 2, and we'll check back in when I'm ready to pull the mop, and I'll show you how I raise the fry. So it's 2 weeks later. I ended up leaving the parents in there for almost the full 2 weeks, and it's been a day and a half since I've taken the parents out, and we've already got some fry. They're hard to capture on camera. So you could either take the parents out of the breeding tank or move the whole mop and put it in a separate tank. I do let the algae take over in the fry tanks. These guys are very small and they'll eat microorganisms that grow on the algae, infusoria, and we actually have some snails that hatched out with these guys. I guess the eggs came over on this mop, or maybe some of the floating plants, but that's okay now that they're hatching out and there's a lot of food left over for the snails to pick at, and algae instead of the eggs. So when these guys first hatch out, they're a little small for live baby brine. I do have an infusoria culture going, so I put some in there, but I've had success in the past with just using the Hikari First Bites, grinding it up and putting it on there. Very little, because these guys are small. And I did have green water at one point in my fish room, but unfortunately that tank cleared up. So something new that I'm trying to add that's even smaller than the First Bites is this Sarah Micron food. So we'll see how that does. That's even finer and smaller than the Hikari First Bites. And since it's been, almost 2 days, these guys are definitely eating some of that food. So when you're doing this method where you're leaving the mop in for a full week or 2, what's going to happen is, because those rice fish are laying eggs in the mop every day, right now we don't have too many, but tomorrow we'll have more, and each day they will continue to hatch. And eventually you'll have some fry that are maybe 2 weeks older than some other fry. So I feed live baby brine to the bigger fry, and then I continue to feed the fry food, the infusoria, and the First Bites for almost 2 weeks until I know that there's not any fry hatching out. And I haven't experienced it with the rice fish too much, but with some species you might have issues with, some aggression or some controlling of the food if you have fry that are 2 weeks older. But with the rice fish, they're pretty docile, so I haven't had any issues with that. So that's how I breed the Blue Daisies rice fish. Hopefully that helped you out, and we'll see you in the next video.